It's about why she wants you. And if there isn't a passion and a desire for you, leave. Because her days with you are gonna be numbered anyway. First of all, Liana, you are his lady, you are his fiancée, you are about to be his wife. Why are you explaining to the world how much you care about him? Does he know? That's all that matters.
She makes me money and she makes her own money. So if we're gonna say she a gold digger, make sure you say I'm a gold digger too.
How do you maintain such a healthy relationship?
Don't let social media be in your relationship.
Okay.
Never post when y'all have problems.
Okay.
And be honest, always be honest.
I feel. You got the ring on right now?
No, I don't.
You don't?
Hey, like, bro.
Travis Hunter was busy flaunting his wealth like it would never stop before this whole bankruptcy scandal broke. First-class holidays, fancy automobiles, and designer drips. He flaunted everything as if the money faucet would never shut off. However, Stephen A. Smith then joined the conversation, and everyone pauses to listen when Stephen A. speaks. He also didn't hold back. Travis was publicly chastised by Stephen A. for his extravagant spending and dubious financial transactions that don't stack up. Stephen A. made one thing very plain, despite some people speculating that his wife's scandal may have been the catalyst for everything. Travis continues to bear the brunt of the blame. He made the choices and signed the checks, and now he must deal with the fallout. As a matter of fact, Stephen A. himself stated, "I don't believe that about Liana." What exactly happened to Travis Hunter's cash flow then? Why does his wife's name sound so entangled in this quagmire of money? Let's go back and dissect it. When Travis Hunter entered the league, he wasn't your average rookie. He was the Jacksonville Jaguars' greatest asset. He was hailed as the next generation of superstar after he was selected first overall in the 2025 NFL Draft. This man was a once-in-a-lifetime talent who dominated Colorado at cornerback and wide receiver, something the game has never seen before since the 1997 Charles Woodson. Additionally, look at this. Travis had already made history at the age of 22, having won the Heisman in December 2024. His destiny appeared to be marked with glory and gold. Then came the big payday, a massive 4-year rookie contract worth $46.65 million, which included an incredible signing bonus of $30.66 million. Travis appeared to have it all from the outside. The legacy in motion, the money, the celebrity. However, beneath the dazzling Instagram flexes and highlight reels, storm clouds were rapidly gathering. In the midst of all of this, rumors about his financial downfall are centered on his wife, Liana Lynn. According to reports, his wealth was rapidly depleted by her scandals and extravagant lifestyle. We're speaking of luxury houses, private planes, and fancy shopping sprees. The kind of expenditure that can burn through millions of dollars before you blink. All of a sudden, Travis's bank accounts appeared to be as dry as a desert during the height of summer. And now that Travis has been targeted by Stephen A. Smith, one thing is evident. This drama has evolved beyond tabloid rumors. It's authentic. Stephen A. doesn't merely for fun throw out shots. Travis Hunter's issue has escalated from awkward to downright dangerous as he starts to steal your money and personal information. There is more to this disaster than careless spending. It's about his own decisions, tumultuous relationships, and the individuals he let destroy his business. On the surface, Stephen A.'s opinion of Travis's marriage may seem to support the couple, but take a deeper look. In fact, he has been one of Travis's harshest critics, particularly on one crucial decision, getting married without a prenuptial agreement. That's not just dangerous in the world of sports and money, it's reckless right from the start. They weren't merely waving red flags. Neon was used to illuminate them. However, Travis chose to pursue love above safeguarding his stuff, just like many young celebrities who suddenly become millionaires. He disregarded all of the warnings. According to reports, Travis and Liana got married in May 2025 without a prenuptial agreement. Experts in finance are now shaking their heads in shock. Travis essentially gave Liana the keys to half of his empire without that legal protection in case things didn't work out. Think about it. A young man who was barely making ends meet in college suddenly found himself in possession of tens of millions of dollars, and instead of protecting his fortune, he entered into a marriage contract. That made him vulnerable to being wiped out. Love isn't that, liability is that. Furthermore, the prenuptial controversy was only the start. Travis is on a crazy shopping spree after receiving that huge NFL deal. And his greatest ego, spending about $600,000 on expensive cars for Liana alone. He gave her a special black Mercedes-Benz AMG 63 Brabus 800, valued at over $200,000 as a wedding present, making it the crown treasure. Directly at the reception, consider launching with fireworks. However, the extravagant spending continued. The pair accelerated their way of living. A $3,275 million mansion in a gated enclave near Jacksonville was the first. A few weeks later, they topped it off with a 7-bedroom, 13-room estate on 7.5 acres. We're talking about a tennis court, a private pool, a 4-car garage, and an unlimited amount of excess that screamed extravagant luxury. And the splurging continued to come in. Not including flights, Travis spent over $20,000 on a honeymoon in Turks and Caicos, spent $100,000 on an engagement ring, and accrued more expensive indulgences along the road. Red flags were raised by financial experts worldwide, who described his decisions as a masterclass in careless spending. Even Stephen A. Smith, who has made a living by criticizing athletes for falling for money traps, continued to disparage Travis on a number of platforms. And Stephen A. wasn't the last. Other specialists also participated. James Stone, a well-known divorce lawyer, even went public and offered free prenuptial agreements to all 2025 NFL draft picks, citing Travis's case as the clearest example of what not to do. Take action. In the meantime, the internet discussion over Liana began to heat up, and it wasn't a pleasant one. Using suspicious information like the money symbol tattoo she has on her ring finger, or the claim that she didn't even entertain Travis until his football career took off, people were eager to call her a gold digger. The story unfolded naturally when you included her fixation with being showered with expensive presents. She loved his pocketbook more than she loved him. Pocketbook more than she loved him. And the reality is harsh when you look at the numbers. Travis admitted that he quickly burned over $635,000 in a short period of time. That's $300,000 for his mother's house, over $250,000 for his and Liana's cars, about $80,000 for boats, and a long list of frills that no rookie deal could possibly afford. He was burning money like he had no end in sight. However, it wasn't. The timing is the most crucial aspect. Travis wasn't a veteran of the NFL with generational riches and years of hefty contracts added up. He had not yet played a single professional snap as a rookie. He was placing all of his money on future wages that might suddenly disappear. With only one injury, a poor performance on the field, or uncontrollable circumstances, the money would vanish. After decades of observing athletes grow and fall, Stephen A. Smith realized how brittle an NFL career. This wasn't only about short-term financial difficulties, he said. It has to do with Travis's developing habits. Before establishing himself, he set a lifestyle standard that was unachievable and spent like a superstar. Those were not merely careless decisions, they were making tracks that led directly to catastrophe. A tale that transforms a skill that has been passed down through generations into another sad warning in the harsh world of professional athletics. Travis couldn't have benefited more from Stephen A. Smith's advice to protect your finances and maintain a close-knit inner circle during this time. He was crumbling under the weight of having to support Liana's extravagant lifestyle. Her expensive expectations seemed to be a factor in every employment choice he had to make. It was similar to witnessing an unrestrained train accelerate with each careless swipe of his card. Every caution that was disregarded. He got closer to the edge with every ostentatious decision that put temporary glitz ahead of long-term survival. As expected, Stephen A. was going to use his signature fire to bring Travis down with some of his most scathing remarks yet. In December 2024, just when Travis ought to have been unassailable, the disintegration really began. He created history on December 14th by winning. He was the first real two-way player to win the Heisman Trophy since Charles Woodson in 1997, and the first guy to win it solely as a wide receiver. The pinnacle of his grind should have been a night filled with nothing but absolute glory. But that night set off a full-on controversy tsunami, rather than a fairy tale celebration. The ceremony itself was when the first red flag was dropped. The camera focused on Liana's clumsy response to Travis's enormous victory. She didn't jump up to applaud or show off her pride. Coach Deion Sanders had to prod her to rise up after she sat there looking blank. That video went viral right away, igniting a firestorm of rumors about her true loyalty and severe criticism. It looked awful, awful. That embarrassing Heisman moment was only the prelude to the impending pandemonium. In a matter of days, elderly Liana's carefully cultivated image as the dedicated, supportive wife was shattered when videos and pictures of her began to circulate online. When a YouTuber revealed something shocking, the situation became even more chaotic. He said Liana had worked at a strip club in Atlanta when she was in her late teens, about 18 or 19. The accusations also implied that she might have worked at places that mandated that bartenders be at least 21 years old. Her long-held belief that she never danced and just bartended was in stark contrast to that. All of a sudden, the rumors about her history were more than just whispers. What people were posting, they claimed to be receipts. And Travis Hunter's flawless golden boy persona couldn't have come at a worse moment. The financial blow associated with Liana's purported history was swift and severe. A player's marketability is crucial in the NFL today. Brand partnerships, sponsorships, and endorsements all depend on one's image. Therefore, the aftermath from a controversy involving your relationship might be extremely costly. Well-known companies that had been considering Travis as the next big star of their advertising campaigns abruptly put a stop to their plans. No one wanted to stake their reputation on an uncontrollably raging storm. And the claims from the strip club were just the start. Before long, a series of harmful videos appeared on the internet, clips from 2021 and 2020. It purports to show Liana twerking at gatherings, getting too close to other males, and even responding to supposedly sly link messages. However, a series of Snapchat recordings purportedly showing her in bed with another man was the most dramatic disclosure. Footage that was emblazoned all over 2021. Everything went haywire on the internet. It was disorganized. It went viral. And it really turned the story around. Some defenders attempted to intervene, saying that the leaked videos occurred before Liana's official relationship with Travis. However, the timelines were out of sync. Rather than putting a stop to it, it just increased the volume of rumors. Was she ever truly faithful? Was the partnership stable from the beginning, or erected on precarious ground? It was ripped apart piece by piece by the internet. Constant arguments, outrageous theories, and breakdowns at the conspiratorial level about what was staged and what was real. But there was no denying the financial harm. The criticism became really harsh.
But I wanted the moment to be about him and his family.
What are you doing? Liana, what are you doing? Before I go any further on this subject, let me fully explain. She also went on to explain her actions following Colorado's last home game, where fans wondered why she didn't seem to give him a hug. And then she explained to fans why she didn't respond to Travis when he first tried to holler via a DM.
We had enough money for the deposit, but not enough money for the furniture. When we first moved to Colorado, we had no furniture, no anything. We moved here in January, so it was really, really cold.
That Travis deleted his Instagram account, which had the potential to be a treasure trove of sponsored posts and sponsorships worth hundreds of thousands, if not millions, for a budding NFL star. He essentially destroyed one of his largest side projects, just when he needed it most by cutting himself off. Despite everything, Travis remained strong and publicly defended Liana from the storm. His sentimental. This demonstrated the scandal's depth and demonstrated that it was no longer merely a financial issue. It was intense, intimate, and consuming him. The mask was torn off in that instant, revealing a young man using his heart rather than his mind to make money movements. Despite the accusations that surrounded her, Travis was spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to keep Liana happy. That's not how a businessman guarding an empire thinks. That's what someone who is on the verge of losing everything thinks. Then it became much more sticky. There were rumors that Liana might be expecting. That one rumor had the potential to ensnare Travis in an entirely new degree of long-term commitment. No prenuptial agreement, endless controversies, and now there may be a child involved. Travis was exposed with no shield in sight, as it was the ideal storm for catastrophe. The most outrageous aspect was that he was no longer the only one being called out by Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. was no longer the only one setting off alerts. Other voices from the sports community began to join in. Former NFL players such as Des Travis was publicly persuaded to leave by Bryant and Boozy. They made it very evident to him that he was jeopardizing his financial and professional future for someone whose loyalty was already being questioned. Here's the worst part though. The worst was yet to come, despite how dire things appeared. The impending financial catastrophe threatened not only that Travis had previously wasted millions of dollars, but he still had every dime he might earn in the NFL. Scandals, careless spending, and emotional choices were all combining to create an uncontrollable storm. Even Stephen A., who has spent decades watching sportsmen crash and burn, said that he was astounded by Travis Hunter's quick tumble, from boundless possibilities to stood on the brink of complete destruction. It was clear that Travis's professional path was a ticking time bomb that was about to blow up by the time the financial and sports industries joined in raising alarms. Analysts also concurred that it was clear how rapidly his empire collapsed. You had to go all the way back to when he first started dating Leanna Lynn. Due to the warning signs, they were soaring from the first day. After it was revealed that Travis had initially DM'd Leanna in 2020, only to be abandoned on Red for 2 months, their early timeline became a hotbed of contention. Under the spotlight of public scrutiny, that detail reappeared, and Leanna attempted to dismiss it with what detractors denounced as a facile justification. However, the harm had already been done by that point, and the public didn't believe it, which only raised additional questions about Leanna's true motivations. Every contradiction in her story was dissected by critics. She claimed Travis wasn't her type and swore she wasn't interested, but she followed his every move to determine when he was unattached. Fans weren't buying it, and it didn't stack up. This stoked rumors that Leanna may have been waiting for Travis's career to take off before making her move. Leanna later attempted to defend herself by stating that when she said, "He wasn't my type," she wasn't referring to appearances, but rather to personal traits. Nevertheless, the timing, the justifications, and the inconsistencies created a jumbled image that detractors claimed appeared a lot more like a plan than a romantic interest. Things quickly got out of hand after Travis and Leanna formally locked in early 2022. When they officially joined Instagram in March, Travis had already begun lavishing her with extravagant presents. Furthermore, his NIL worth exploded at the precise moment he was moving to Colorado, turning him into one among the college football players with the most marketability. However, many individuals weren't happy with that timing. Experts in finance couldn't help but notice how Travis's increasing income and Leanna's sudden enthusiasm complemented one another. The red flags simply kept piling up, and the overlap was too severe to ignore. Travis himself acknowledged it. He spent almost $635,000 in an absurdly short amount of time. Even his most devoted followers were taken aback by his casual remarks about burning through that type of money. It demonstrated more than simply inexperience. It revealed his lack of readiness to safeguard his wealth. It was more than careless spending. It was completely flat, disrespect for budgeting. The pattern underlying that spending only made it hurt more. Nearly all of the money might be linked to Leanna or their connection. She easily accepted the high life, with lavish cars, frequent trips, and an extravagant lifestyle. Travis was the one paying all of the bills. Yet only a few months after agreeing to one of the largest rookie contracts in NFL history, Travis was reportedly experiencing severe cash flow issues by the beginning of 2025. According to insiders, he was essentially living paycheck to paycheck, even though he was a multimillionaire by late 2024 and early 2025, because his outflow was severely overwhelming his inflow. At that point, the charges of Leanna being a gold digger reached their peak. Travis went public to protect her rather than calm things down, a move that demonstrated the depth of his involvement. According to experts, his commitment revealed a young man who was either oblivious to the warning signs or perhaps unwilling to confront reality. His entire future, his finances, and his stability were all on the precipice. However, the defense's failure in the worst possible way. Travis said that Leanna does contribute to his income in an attempt to clear her name, a startling claim that only caused more people to take notice. It was immediately ripped apart by fans and commentators, who claimed it revealed the harsh truth that their relationship was no longer based on love. It was beginning to resemble a transaction. In their relationship, money was more than simply a benefit. It was a component of the framework that held everything together. Then the shocker arrived. Rumors began to circulate in August 2025 that a divorce might already be imminent. There were rumors that Leanna was planning a possible colony behind the scenes that would reach stratospheric figures. Travis was also in danger of losing half of everything because he had no prenuptial agreement. We're discussing his NFL contract, endorsements, bonuses, and any remaining wealth. Years of labor could be undone in an instant by a single vicious court battle. Additionally, when people examined their relationship's timeline, it only made the image more sloppy. From Leanna abandoning him for 2 months in 2020 to unexpectedly entertaining him when his fortune began to take off to the barrage of presents following the explosion of his NIL worth to an engagement that coincided perfectly with his NFL debut. Everything screamed calculated to critics. Financial analysts also didn't mince words, describing it as a typical example of someone who understood exactly what were at risk and arranged themselves to take full advantage of his success. Everywhere, advisors and veterans raised alarms, cautioning that once a relationship begins with diamond rings, fancy automobiles, and constant high demands, such expectations don't go away. They only become larger, and Travis had put himself in a vicious loop from which it was nearly impossible to break. The Jaguars, meanwhile, were beginning to perspire behind the scenes. The team publicly supported their star rookie. Coaches and insiders, however, privately acknowledged their concerns. According to leaked reports, Travis was inconsistent in his practice, made mental mistakes, and made careless mistakes that were completely out of character for the great player he was in college. The mayhem off the pitch was beginning to spill onto it. Travis's social media accounts began to exhibit signs of weakness as well. They went from well-curated highlight reels of his accomplishments to unpredictable displays of luxury and tumultuous relationship conflict that betrayed a guy under stress. Then there was stillness. Travis Hunter remained quiet for weeks while attempting to maintain a tenuous facade of normality. Behind the scenes, mayhem was brewing. Legal professionals cautioned that careless squandering was no longer the only factor contributing to his financial difficulties. They were now caught up in possible legal issues. The costs were piling up quickly due to Liana's scandals, lawsuits, threats, and the crippling expense of fighting even weak accusations. According to reports, advisors were even subtly recommending bankruptcy protection as a means of restructuring debt and protecting himself from the financial catastrophe that a divorce settlement may cause. There is no greater irony. Before turning 23, this young guy had a profound impact on tens of millions of people, now facing the prospect of losing everything. Additionally, not due to wounds, not because of poor investments, but rather due to individual decisions connected to a single relationship. Decisions that he may have easily avoided with better preparation and more sound counsel. The fact that the warning flags had been obvious from the beginning just added to the tragedy. The rapid-fire flow of gifts, the early comment that he wasn't her type, the abrupt change after his money started coming in, and the ignored direct messages. People close to him had been yelling about all of the red flags. Nevertheless, Travis persisted, dismissing knowledgeable advisors and putting himself in danger of financial collapse. One of the sports world's most promising rising stars is currently on the verge of complete collapse, not because of the game's violence, but rather because of his own choices. A love story that might end up being one of the messiest cautionary stories in NFL history involves a career and a fortune that are on the verge of collapse. Please remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment with your thoughts on this crazy tale if you liked this video. Of course, if you want to view additional content, click one of the boxes on your screen right now. I'll see you in the following one.